Hey there, Rubes. Are you gorgeous? Good morning. Last week's video was entirely a plot tour of everything that's going on outside. I did say that I couldn't get into the polytunnel because it was quite late in the afternoon. I didn't want it to lose its heat. Well, it is morning now, so we're going to go into the polytunnel, and I think there's quite a lot of stuff that I need to do in there. So I will do a little bit of a, not really a tour. It's only 2 meters by 3 meters. There's only so much touring you can do. But we'll look at what's going on in there and then what needs to be done next. So we've already cleared the tomatoes out of here. There is no tomatoes, but what there is still is loads of basil. And it is a beautiful balmy day today, but it is about to turn really cold. We're going to be going down to 1 at night, like in 2 days' time. And I think it's time for the basil to go. But despite the, the imminent doom of the basil, things are actually looking really nice in here. We got them in good time, which is something that I do struggle with a lot of the years, is that by the time I've actually planted stuff in here, it's really quite late in the year, or the temperatures have really dipped and nothing really gets established. But actually, we're doing pretty well with that this year. So here's all my basil, right? There's a lot of it, as you can see. Basil, 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 basil. But between all of that basil, there is actually some quite good stuff. We've got some mizuna growing away here, which is coming up really nicely. So that's something. Then we've got loads of really nice looking coriander, which is good. There's a couple of lettuces kind of dotted in and around. We've got some things that are in rows and some things that aren't, because when I first started planting it up, this still had tomatoes and what else did we have in here? Can't even remember now, but we had a lot of things in it. Oh, aubergines and all that kind of stuff. So I was just dotting. But the stuff that's gone in later when we had a bit more space is in rows. But yeah, it's a little bit haphazard. But luckily they're mostly things that you can tell what they are. It's not like it's a complete mystery like this one here. We know what that is. Then we've got a load of mustard greens in here. So this is green wave mustard. There should be some, oh yeah, so at this stage they look quite similar, like green wave is really, really green, and dragon's tongue, because it's quite young, is only just starting to get a little bit of purple. We've got experimental kailan in here, which is an oriental broccoli. I sowed it really super late and it's supposed to be really quick. I have no idea what it's going to do. It could be a spring crop from there, but I just thought, since we've got the space, it's worth just having a go with it. There's another little patch of coriander here that we've actually taken loads off. That's been really productive. There's some endive in here, which I've also got some growing outside. And then we've got the chard, which is all across here. And hopefully, I mean, I'm not expecting this to be kind of eatable over winter. I think it's just going to sit and establish itself. And then hopefully we'll get a really, really nice crop of that early in the spring. There's some more mizuna just kind of dotted between them. I think that was actually direct sown, or by direct sown, I mean scattered accidentally in that corner, because I don't remember putting it there, but that's what it is. Then there are some spring onions in there. Again, these will just sit here not doing very much, but in spring we'll get a really nice early crop of them. It's a waiting game with those, because I tried these last year and they really did look very sad all winter and really quite mouldy. Nearly took them out, but more due to laziness than or inaction than plan. I just left them, and actually by spring they really came into their own. So I've decided it's well worth just letting them sit there and look really sad and then get the benefits later. There's some more chard next to those. This is actually Lucullus, another one which just does brilliantly in the spring once it's got its roots in over winter. There's a more sort of lettuces dotted in there. Some spinach over this side, which is going to be for baby leaf for salad throughout the winter. Look at that. I just love this lettuce. It's the one that was called Outrageous. Don't know if you remember the episode when I was planting them. I was well excited to discover they'd been grown on the International Space Station, that exact variety. More Gailan in that corner. Again, that's the experimental one. And then over here, this is some of the first stuff that I actually got in while there was still all tomatoes and everything else growing in here. And this is the pak choi. So it's a mixture of red choy, which is this one. There's a couple of mustard greens. And yeah, there should have been some vivid choy in there, but I'm not actually seeing it. But still, this stuff is basically ready for eating now. Then there's another patch of coriander over there. This is a really healthy looking plant. That's just a single plant. I mean, it's a real beast. This is the Thai basil that I put in as a bit of an experiment because I've been having mixed opinions from people on that. Some people have been telling me that it's really, really soft, and the moment you get a cold snap, it goes. And that's what's sort of looking like. If you see how the leaves are really loosened, so I think the moment we get the cold weather, it's just going to shed all its leaf. But somebody else was telling me that, oh, it's really hardy and it'll survive the whole winter. So I thought I'd just try some, but who knows on that front. And yeah, a couple more spring onions. And that's it. That's what we've got growing in here for winter and early spring. So the basil, I'm pretty sure, is going to go as soon as we get this low temperature. So I'm going to harvest all of it today. I'm just going to take it all out. I'm not going to pull the roots out though, because there's so much stuff planted around it. I don't want to disturb that, so I'm just going to cut it off at the base. And then I'm going to save some for home. So I'll cut it all off at the base, take it all home with me today, and then I'll take some long shoots and root them and then pot them up and have them at home, you know, because we're not going to get frost in the kitchen. Fingers crossed, if the heating's working, we're not going to get frost in the kitchen. So I'll pot them up. I could just dig one out and you know, pot it up and take it home, but actually they're quite woody, they're quite big plants now, and I'd be better off just taking cuttings and starting again with fresh new lovely plants. And basil roots so easily, we won't have any problems with that. So I'm going to go and get some secateurs and we're going to take out all the basil. I'm going to keep them on their woody stems. Do you see what I mean about how woody they've got? I'm going to keep them on those stems until I get home, because obviously the more stem, the better bit of longevity they've got. I'll just cut these straight off at the base and we'll sort them out once we get home. Okay, that is the last lot of basil that we're getting from this year, as in from the polytunnel. Obviously, I'll get some of this growing at home and we'll have it actually just growing in the conservatory, you know, just next to the kitchen. So we will have some, but not quite to this extent. Excellent. The sun has now gone in. I knew it wasn't going to last all day, but that means that this will start cooling down. So I'm going to lock this up and head into the greenhouse because we've got chilies to get. I've just remembered we're having Chinese tonight and I need some pak choy before I lock up. So this stuff isn't really at the right, oh, can you see me? This stuff isn't really huge, so I'm not going to take the whole lot. I'm just going to take a couple of leaves. We're having like a mixed veg thing, so a couple of leaves will do us really, just to get the gist. I'm going to take some mustard greens as well. It's only the two of us and we've got a load of other stuff to go in, so. I'm going to do field bean tops with this, and what was the other thing I was going to put in there? Field bean tops, oh, and a bit of chicory. Look at that for a haul. Mum, for that for a haul.
You're going to put some in there.
Yeah, yeah, so I'll take the cuttings of that and then we'll have that at home. And then this is for dinner tonight. And I'm going to go and pick some field bean tops and grab the chilies. I will take this one. Have you got the snips on you?
Oh, they're right there.
Oh, yeah. That's a bit dicey. Okay. I'm not sure if you can see this through the window, but we got red chilies. Woo! We got red chilies. Dun, dun, dun. We got red chilies. Dun, dun, dun. Got red chilies. We got red chilies. Dun, dun, dun. Right, yellow chilies. Mum has had a right clear up in here. It's looking really nice. We were having a few problems with mould actually, and I'll tell you about my peas in a second. But because we were trying to protect the temperature to keep the chilies happy, we've had the door closed and it's been really damp, and in here it's got really, really sweaty. And so we were getting a little bit of mould. So I'm just trying to I've just walked into a spider web and I can feel things moving. Oh well. Yeah, so we've had a few problems with that actually. And the peas have not fared well. How are we looking in there? Is that? These ones are good. This one's good. We've got like 2-3 days until this cold weather's going to hit. At that point, I reckon a lot of these will be coming home with us green. Not a bad haul. Not a bad haul, chaps, but let me show you the pea disaster. So I sowed these right pretty much at the last possible point because they were supposed to be going into the polytunnel. The plan was, these are peas that are quite happy to overwinter, but we were going to be using them as pea shoots, like salad pea shoots over winter, and then in spring, let them get nice and tall as soon as that first flush happens, and then we get really super early peas. But because we've had the door closed in here and it's been so damp, the very first few to germinate have germinated just fine, and the rest of them, I had a poke around in here earlier. See that? It's just rotted out. That is mushy pea, and we were not after mushy pea. So I think overall, what have I got? 2, 4, 6 peas out of all of that. Luckily, I think the broad beans are okay. They all seem to be, oh, you're wobbling, sorry. They all seem to be germinating pretty well. And the couple that haven't, I've investigated further, and the beans are still rock solid and they're just starting to put out their little tails. So I think the broad beans are okay. It's a shame about the peas. The levels of damp in here have decreased wildly just by having the window cracked. You can see on some of these chilies actually. Oh, sorry, got the spider web all over me. You can see some of them. Actually, can you see that? Just like a little brown flecking, like at the top of that one there, where it's just been too damp, basically. That does just scrape off. But yeah, lesson learned on that front. Okay. Are we good? Yeah, those peas, I'm just going to let them come up a little bit bigger than that. They will probably still go into the polytunnel. We'll just have far fewer than we were expecting. But talking of pea tops, they're kind of this time of year replacement. I'm going to go and pick some field bean tops. Actually, girlies, don't you eat those. Put them up there. Very dangerous putting a harvest basket on the ground with whirlays around. Right, this is bed number 1 of the field beans. You can see they're about sort of this high now, and I'm ready to take some tops off them. First harvest. See if we can just pull this back. So like I say, the beans are now, what, that sort of height. And what I want to do is just take the tops off them like this. So this is the really nice, delicious bit. But I don't want to take it below that first set of leaves. If I nip them off right at the ground, they're pretty much done for. So you need to make sure that the plants have got 2 sets of leaves. And just take the top one, which will bush them out, which is also what we're hoping to do. So this does serve a double purpose. Bush them out, tasty yum. Can you ask for more than that? Not sure you can. Hey girlies. So in tonight's dinner, I'm actually going to be cooking these, as in a stir fry. But they are very happy just being part of a salad. Or stirred in the last minute of soup. They collapse down really quick. These leaves, they're really proper soft. And I've got a really strong leguminous taste, like pea shoot taste. They're not as sweet as pea shoots, but they've got that same flavour. And so you can stir them in right at the end of a soup or a stew, or a little bit like you would use spinach in that sense. In fact, you can use these exactly like you would use spinach. That's a really good comparison, because they collapse down in size. You know how spinach just goes from, like, you put a bucket of spinach into a pan and it comes out like this tiny ball. This does the same thing. So think of it in those terms. Right, I think that's probably enough for first picking on these. And as they recover from being picked, so obviously I'll do this section and then I'll do the other section, and as they recover from being picked, I just come and pick them again. Relentless, remorseless stunting of their growth. Fab. That'll do me. That's why we cover the bean shoots up, otherwise we would have nothing left. This is more pak choy. This is the one that is called Vivid. It's a beauty, absolute beauty. So that'll be for dinner tonight. And we've got a really nice lettuce here that I am going to take, but I need the snips off Mum. Okay, I think we might take some spinach too. Isn't it lovely that it is pretty much mid-November and there's so much to pick? Just joyous. It's absolutely joyous. Okay, that's good, that's good. Let me get the snippies. Can't find the snips, it's a constant battle, but actually this lettuce here is looking gorgeous, and I always leave them too late. I've just loved that. Oh, doesn't that lettuce look lovely? Doesn't that lettuce look lovely? And then you turn around and it's gone, and we haven't picked it and haven't eaten it. So I'm very chuffed to be taking that one home. That one's ready. That one's ready. I think that's it for in this bed. Just got the chicory to pick now. Sorry? I've got some scissors. This is one of the veg that I get asked about a lot. It's called leaf chicory, so it is a chicory, it's bitter. It looks like a giant dandelion, the leaves. It does taste a bit like a dandelion, but it is nowhere near as bitter as dandelion. It's just a real joy. But you do have to like bitter things. But if you do like bitter things, this is a beauty. It's a proper classic Italian veg, just sauteed and put with. So if you saute up garlic, anchovies, chili, olive oil, bung this in, wonderful. In fact, that is exactly what we're having for lunch with spaghetti. Oh, sorry, Val. Sorry that, Val. Didn't mean to give you a fright with my chicories. We've got some real goodies to take home with us today. Right, chicory and a massive amount of basil. We've got lettuces, chilies, pak choy, field bean tops. What else have we got in there? Spinach, mustard greens. Well, hey, for November. I love it. I love it. Right, so the sun was supposed to be going in by now, but actually doesn't look too bad. But Mum and I are going out this afternoon, or this evening. It's going to feel like the evening because darkness, but it is this afternoon. I apologise in advance if anybody is just horrified by the fact that Christmas is around the corner. It's a Christmassy thing. Sorry about that. Yeah. Where's Val? Good morning. So, day before yesterday, we did, where's my chalk? Where's my chalk? What is it about the chalk? Just won't stay. Right, what did we do? I haven't sorted the pots. I've done the chilies. I've cleared the basil, done the field beans. Mum cleared the outdoor tomatoes. Sorting pots is a little bit of a wayward one, but what does that leave us with? Top marks for anybody who said the bloomin' chicken house, Jessie. So it has rained for more than 24 hours since we were last here. It just, the heavens opened and it has just been a deluge. So everything's really muddy. But despite it being really grey and looking a bit rainy, we have been assured by good old BBC meteorologists and in fact all of the meteorologists that I have checked that there is no rain due for 3 days. It's going to get very, very cold. This bit of cloud that we've got over us at the moment is the only thing holding the heat in. As soon as this clears, it's going down to -1 at night time, not daytime, like 5 in the day. But it does mean that we have got 3, 4, maybe even 5 days of dry weather. So it is time to remake the chicken house. We don't have very long. It's like 11 o'clock now. And obviously it gets dark at 4. So we've got a limited amount of time. And our first priority is to make sure the girls are safe. So we're going to actually move them into the fruit cage, which is made the same way as their cage. It's just got a bit of a dodgy door. So we've got to fix the door, move them into there so that we know that if we can't get it done tonight or whatever, we probably won't get it all done in one day. But if we can't get it all done to a point where they're going to be safe overnight, we've got somewhere for them to go where they can be locked away and no dramas. So that is the first task. I'm probably not going to do very much speaking today because we don't have a lot of time and I just really want to get on with it. This may be the last time you hear from me for a little while. But yeah, let's see how far we get. Let's see how far we get. This is where the girlies, I know I just said you weren't going to hear from me again. There's the girlies' house. This is actually a stronger cage than what theirs is made out of, and it's dug in all the way around the edges. And the door closes flush up against that stone, and then we're going to put a big board across here. Plus, they're actually going to be locked into that box. So they'll be able to run around here in the daytime when we're up here. But then obviously it gets dark and then they will just go into there and be locked away safe. Here comes Mum with their bits and pieces. Lovely.
The green surroundings.
New girlies, not new girlies, wrong. Girlies' new or temporary abode sorted. Now we can crack on with the real business. Okay, and now it's pretty much dark. It's actually a lot lighter on the camera than it is out here in reality. It's pretty gloomy, but we've got the majority of the structure up. So the door is still in place. That's the only bit that's still there. And then we've got the rest of the structure. We've got the whole front to do tomorrow, and then we've got the base layer of mesh on the floor, but that's not small enough to stop rats coming up. That's more of a protection. So that's actually like double layer of, oh, this little robin. He has been loving what we've been doing. But yeah, there's a double layer of protection because there's the original chicken mesh underneath there that we haven't removed from from before. So that's still buried under there. Then there's like compacted soil. Then there is that mesh. So hopefully, you know, defences. But yeah, pretty pleased with the progress, but we need floodlights. Sorry about the lack of microphone. We are just coming to the end of day 2 of this. Slightly slower than expected because we decided to go for slabs. We've thought about doing slabs for such a long time, but it is such a pain getting slabs up here because obviously it's like you can't get a car anywhere near here, so they have to be wheeled up in a wheelbarrow, and they're not light. They're not light. Their very essence is not lightness. So I brought some up, and then Mum has just been unbelievable. She's just been doing 2 slabs at a time, slow and steady, bringing them up the drive. So yeah, we are cracking on. Sorry about the aeroplane, but I don't have a microphone on me. I wasn't really planning to have a chat to you, to be honest. But we have made some very serious progress. This mesh obviously is a rat can get through that, but that's just the structure. We've actually got the small mesh to go over the top of it, so that is another stage. I'm ready for a bath. I am ready for a bath. Mum's just doing one more run with slabs. We've just got a little tiny bit left to do. Little tiny bit left to do. There she is with another load. The ultimate slab cargo vessel. Wow, that is a lot of slabs Mum has moved today. I think we're both ready to not be doing this now. Cheers, chaps. Cheers to actually cracking on with the Girly Whirly Palace HenHouse renovations. I'm really chuffed that we got started on that. Very unsatisfactory to not be able to get it finished in one complete episode though. Sorry about it being split. Next week's vlog will start with us finishing it off. I reckon we've probably got one full day and then some one full day until the girls can move back in, and then tinkering for a little while, but it should be finished before the end of next week. It's supposed to rain a little bit this evening, but after that we've got another like 4 days of clear skies, which is when the temperatures are really going to drop, because, you know, clear skies, all the heat escapes. But yeah, so the main job that we've got to finish off is obviously the floor, and then I've got to mesh the outside. So we haven't had blocks in the chicken house before, but I think it's going to make a huge difference. I know it's not ideal in sense of like dust baths, but we're going to put the dust bath in there, so they will still have dust bath. And also, you know how before where they used to have like their little outside, it wasn't outside, but it was straight out onto the soil area. I'm going to reinstate that pretty sharpish. It's going to be in exactly the same place coming off the side of that door. So that will be their area that they can play inside but outside, because the avian flu restrictions are headed our way again. I think currently Wales is under restrictions, and then it always kind of comes across this way. So in the middle of this video, between allotmenting and chicken house making, we actually went to a party at Somerset House, and it was the Waitrose Christmas party. So do you remember I went to Leckford, the Leckford farm, which was that really fantastic farm that's run or owned by Waitrose? It is the Waitrose farm. Regenerative agriculture stuff over there. It's absolutely fascinating. Really, really enjoyed that day. Well, it appears that I've found myself on some kind of PR list because I got invited to the Christmas party, and it was really good. Firstly, I was really chuffed that I was able to take Mum along with me, so we both went. It was at Somerset House, which is lovely anyway, and they've got the ice skating ring. We did have, you know, we could have gone on the ice skating ring, but I think Mum was a bit worried about breaking the other hip, so we decided we'd leave that one alone. So yeah, it was canapé heavy. There were canapes coming out of our ears because it was testing all of the lovely Waitrose Christmas food that they've got coming out this year. And actually the main event was to reveal the Christmas advert, but we actually missed all of that big reveal because we were standing on the balcony chatting to people and having wine and hot chocolate with marshmallows in it and the whole works. So yeah, we missed the main event, but obviously the advert's on the telly now anyway, so doesn't really matter. I also found out later that they were embroidering scarves, like John Lewis scarves in there somewhere, but I never even found that. Mum and I basically went in, got the wine, and had a natter to a whole load of people, really interesting people actually, from like all the way across the food kind of spectrum in the media, but also people who are actually like recipe testers and all this kind of stuff. So it was really interesting. And then loads and loads of the Waitrose Christmas food came out, which we tried, which was particularly lovely. The main one that I filmed was Mum was so excited. Have you ever seen anybody so happy to get a little turkey pie as she was? Because she loves anything in miniature, especially like small food. Mum loves. So she got the pie and the mashed potato and the Brussels sprouts and then a cranberry ketchup on the top. Well, anyway, I didn't have any of it because she woofed it, but she said it was delicious. Absolutely delicious. So I'm going to do big cheers to thanks to Waitrose for inviting me to that, because it was really good. And actually, there were 2 things on there which I'm going to go and buy. You know, when you get a taster of something, you're like, oh yeah. One of them was a little like a crostini with chestnut stuffing in it and a pickled cranberry on top, which was so good. And then Mum also went completely nuts for these little tiny square like chocolate ganache things. I've turned around, she'd taken one off, you know, the person with the plate was walking around like this. And she'd taken one. Next thing I know, she's got chocolate everywhere, all over her fingers. It was quite soft, like coming down the thing. She had it all over the invite. Can't take her anywhere. Anyway, yeah, so big cheers to Waitrose. Thank you so much for inviting us to that. It was a really, really nice evening. And Mum can't be doing with Christmas in general, but I think she quite enjoyed it. She quite enjoyed it. So you may have noticed behind me, my drawers that normally have all my seeds in are empty. That is because behind the camera, it is a sea of seed boxes. So this week, I think it was last Friday, you know, King's Seeds, they have a deal with the National Allotment Association that if you get in an early order, you get a discount and free postage and packing or something along those lines. It's some deal that we get. And because I'm a member via an allotment association up the road, they do like a big mass order. And so I had to get my seed order in. Just for the things that I get from King's, which is one of the things that I really wanted to get was a clubroot resistant cauliflower that my allotment neighbour has had wild success with this year, and the King's Seed sells it. So I wanted to get that. So I thought, in my naivety, I know, I'll just pull all the seeds out. I'll go and get all of the seeds from the allotment, which I said, you know, I had that carrier bag last week that was full of seeds. Bring them all home, unload them all and do a bit of a seed audit. Well, yeah, this is the current state of the other side of this room. I mean, these are not, each one of these boxes has got about, oh my God, I can't even tell you how much seed we've got in each of these boxes. And there are masses of them. Like, look at this, almost spring onions, alliums. This is just spinach and chard. I mean, how many packets have we got in there? Chilies, squash, beetroot. Do you know what I don't need? Like 18 varieties of radish. But I've got them. It's crazy. So I have actually done a seed order, but what I've also done is started doing my seed audit and getting the list together of seeds that I know I want to grow, like varieties that I know I want to grow this year. So I talked about this last week, that on the Discord, we've been just starting to put together a list of like really highly recommended varieties of ones that we're all growing. But yeah, I'm trying to really narrow my list down so that for the big seed swap that's going to be happening really early March, I've already got all the seeds that I know I'm not going to use ready to go, so that it's not like a mad rush at the end trying to think, oh my goodness, I don't know if I want to sow that. Do I want to give that one away? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, there will be a lot of things in here which are both out of date though and not really usable. It's funny with the out of date ones though, because I know that a lot of brassica seed, even though it's really out of date, it's still perfectly viable. I mean, some of these packets we've had for absolutely ages and we're still using them, and they're long out of date, but they still come up really well every year. Some of the other things not so much, and that obviously for a seed swap is quite an important thing to know. But yeah, so yes, seeds. I've got a lot of seeds to sort out, and now I've started the job, I just don't know what to do with myself. Hopefully we get a little bit more crap weather, so I'm trapped inside again and it will force me to do it rather than just living in this kind of seed sea that I'm in at the moment. So that, chaps, I think does us for this week. Next week, obviously, cracking on with the hen house. I promised to give you a rest from anything Christmassy for at least a couple more weeks. That was a little bit alarming, I must say. Even when I was editing it and I was putting the Christmas music over, I was like, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. but still, yes. So next week, chicken house finishing, and then we've got loads and loads of clearing to do, because once I've done the chicken house, I'll know how much wood I've got left over to do the other projects I need to do, like fixing the cold frame and the potting bench and making the new shed door, all of that kind of stuff. I needed to get the chicken house done first so that I knew exactly how much wood I've got left over. So it is an enormous cheers to everybody. It's cheers to my Patreons, as always. The Monday Club, they're the people who watch this video on a Monday night. So it is huge cheers to you guys. Thank you so much, as always. And cheers to everybody. I think next week we're going to be doing a lot of dahlia taking out across the country. So all of us are going to be chopping down black dahlias, because it's supposed to get to -1 tomorrow night. Dahlias don't like -1. No, and chilies. We're going to have a lot of clearing. If it really does get that cold, we're all going to be doing a lot of clearing, chaps. A lot of clearing. So, cheers. Cheers, chaps. I will see you next week. Dot at the top. Okay. Cheers.